like hip-hop music. You like it cause you choose it. Most DJs won't refuse it. A lot of sucker MCs misuse it.
M.O.P.T.O.P. Now what you hear is Buddha Stretch.
Hi Stretch.
Sir?
Thanks for doing this thing with me. So I just want to find out a little bit more about MOPTOP.
Well, first off, M.O.P.T.O.P had nothing to do with our hair. M.O.P.T.O.P is basically our mantra. You know, this is circa back 20 plus years ago. I had my first record deal with Atlantic Records, and a label made with a rapper named D.O.C. And the record company had album release party for his album, and so we went to the record release, and my dad came, and my dad heard his album, and he told me, listen to this guy. He said, see how precise he is, see how hard he's going, see, you know, he said, you know, you can feel his motivation through his music. You know, his performance is intense. He said, everything that you do has to be like that. He said, no matter what it is, if you're going to rap, you got to be, you know, as precise and intense as he is, or better. He said, if you do that, you have to do that in your dance, you have to do that in anything that you do. You know, he said his performance is outstanding. You know, and so those words really sunk into my head, because I always listened to my dad. And I took some of the words he said, and I came up with MOPTOP. It stands for Motivated on Precision Toward Outstanding Performance. You know, when I came up with that, it was just my own personal mantra in my head, really, for what I wanted to do and how I was, you know, I kept that in my head. And 1989 is when I hooked up with Link and Khalif, and you know, when I told them, you know, about what I was doing with MOPTOP and what I thought about it, and you know, so we started a crew. It was really just us three at first, and then Loose Joint kinda was, but wasn't. You know, and then about a year or two later, basically about a year and a half later, we added Ejo, and we became a crew. Khalif, Ejo, myself, and Link. We were MOPTOP. But in that year and a half that happened, that passed, you know, all of the people that we hung out with and we worked with started to be known as the MOPTOP crew, the collective. You know, it ended up being myself, Khalif, Ejo, Link, Loose Joint, Which Way Shot, Khalif's brother Ramir, P.O.P, a guy named Flex, who's now an actor, comedian, and you know, Voodoo Ray. There's a multitude of us. And, you know, by then we had all grown dreadlocks. You know, and then you had, you know, offshoots of what we were doing, like there's a crew called Jiggy, and then you had the Misfits, but we were all one clique because we all rolled together. We were always dancing together in the clubs. We did videos together. We worked together. We hung out. So we became known as the MOPTOP clique, MOPTOP crew. But it was originally just stuff that my dad said to me, and I made an acronym. And then that was my focus on how I wanted to do things, you know, and how I wanted to go about learning, you know, the different aspects of the business, and everything that I was doing, I went head first. And, you know, that was our mantra. And when I introduced it to the other guys, we became the clique. So that's what it really, that's what it stands for. And it really had nothing to do with our hair, because none of us had dreadlocks. You know, when I came up with it, the only person that had dreadlocks at that time was P.O.P. All the rest of us had flat tops.
It's cool. Thanks for sharing that, Stretch.
Yeah, no
Because
problem.
I don't think anybody really knows this kind of stuff right now these days.
Yeah, I've had a couple of people have asked me, but that was basically it. It's really just, a mantra on how we would go about doing what we were doing. Like how I explained that my dad just said, you got to do this at 150%, everything that you do. And he said, take it seriously. He said, if you don't take it seriously, nobody will take it seriously. So that's why when I'm doing events or I'm teaching class, I'm serious because this is what I do. This is my life. It's not a hobby, especially now, being that I'm much older and hopefully wiser. The things that my father instilled in me when I was younger, they really hit home now, because now I have to explain who I am, what I'm about, what I do, how did I get to this point. And so, I take, whatever I'm doing serious. And then people tend to think, oh, he's so serious, I'm not serious all of the time. I'm serious about my work. I'm serious about my life. But most of the time, when I'm not working, I'm not serious at all. I'm very silly. But, you would never know that unless we hung out, and people tend to think like, he's intense. Yeah, I'm intense because this is what I do. I take it seriously. And I tell other people that I come into contact, especially dancers, because, in the business of entertainment, dancers are the lowest on the totem pole. And the reason is that they're taken for granted because dancers don't put a worth on what they do. My dad told me from years ago, he said, if you don't have worth to what you do, then how can anybody else think what you do is worth anything? If you don't think it's worth anything, you have to put a price on what you do, and you have to stick to that. And so we all took it seriously. Like, this is what we do, and when we do it, we get paid a certain amount of money. Otherwise, we're not doing it. And then it's just, at least at home now, dancers are really starting to understand that now, because the music industry has completely changed, and dancers are, really at the forefront of entertainment now. They're in need and constant, and with classes, and studios, and all that. So people are, it's good to watch, where it is from where it came, and I'm pretty happy with being one of the people responsible for it staying and growing to what it is now.
Stretch, why didn't you pursue a career in music instead?